Bad bitch, I'm a bad bitch, one.
In the track kicking doors and I'm just being honest. If you want smoke, then we cook niggas up like an omelet. I'm just being honest. Throw me a 60 if I go to magic or honest. I'm just being honest. I keep a stick or a blicky in case it gets sticky. I'm just being honest. She know that I'm with it. I'm having this chicken, this trick, and I'm just being honest. Who really getting it? Be honest. Hey, posture be giving. Be honest. She real like a pint. I got rats in the bank and these bitches be hooked like finest. I up in my rank 'cause I got niggas, bank niggas.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I changed what I was doing with the mic, and I just want to make sure it wasn't like fucky or anything. But hello, you glowing princess. How are you?
Hi, I'm so good. How are you?
I'm good. Things are pretty just cash. Nothing too crazy right now. But, yeah, just living life in this cold freaking weather in Maine.
Dude,
it's dry and freezing up here.
I don't know how you do it.
I'm telling you, man. Like, give this kid another 7 years to graduate, and we're gone.
Yeah.
We're out of here. Can't deal with it. But everybody's leaving here, it feels like. Another wellness pro that's up here, Brandy Gomez. She's gonna be moving down to Tampa. I just feel like everyone's fleeing New England, and it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
But understood. It's freezing up here. We've had
what's the temperature today?
Actually, it's been a little warm the last few days at like 30 degrees. So, but right now, yeah, it's 28. So it's been like a high of 30 today. But we're hanging in there.
Nuts.
Right, Ashlyn, we're getting through this cold, dry weather.
I am in a sweater, like blanket. That's all.
Like head to toe. Is it like one of the cold ones?
Got a pocket in the front and everything too.
That's comfy. That seems like what I need towards the end of a prep when you're low body fat and you're freezing and you just want a hug from someone, but you don't want a hug from someone, but you want to be
cozy. Amazon, it was like $30.
Oh, that's not bad.
No, not at all.
Dude, I can't tell you how. I'm curious if you experience this too when you've been in preps, but it feels like everybody does. But do you get like the shop everything on Amazon online shopping like kick? Yeah.
Dude,
I don't know what it is.
Bad.
It's bad, dude. It's like tax season, so I'm like, I've had all this stuff my save later,
Yeah.
My save later is ridiculous. There's over 300 items in there. I'm like, one day I'm gonna get to you.
Yeah. Why are we like this? Why do we do?
And then it sits there until it's unavailable.
Years, but I'll never take it off the list. It'll stay on the list. You review it later and be like, oh yeah, I remember when I was looking for these pants. Right. And maybe I'll throw them in. I actually I've now got 2 pairs of those flare leggings, Ashlyn, that you raved about. They're so good. I gotta send them to you, Hunter, because I feel like you would rock the shit out of them. They're
I love a good flare legging.
I actually have a pair right here because I just bought some more yesterday. This is like my 6th pair. And
the snow in the background?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 2 feet deep. You can just, it's
pure white.
They're like bottom ones. And like they feel like velvet and butter on your skin.
They're so soft. And like I initially, because I think I got a medium for my first pair. And when I got them in, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to slip these suckers on. But they're compressing in a way that's not like muffin top compressing. They kind of like stick everything in, and like they just kind of form fit like right over your legs and your booty so nicely. It's really good.
And for $25, like,
yeah,
give me every color. Give me every
it's a
color.
pretty good deal. Hello, Jazzy Jazz.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
We're doing okay.
Doing all still alive.
Yeah. How are you? How's all your prep things and your feelings, and how you doing?
Good. Yeah, we're still kind of in that like pre-prep phase, so nothing's crazy right now. Just
Cruising.
cleaning up. No more extras. Making sure I'm getting like all my steps in, doing the cardio, like eating the meals as prescribed. So it's really just kind of more about like officially locking into the plan.
Cool. Hell yeah. That's always nice too, because I feel like I just get so motivated just from like that switch up alone.
Yeah.
Like things are rocking and grooving. You're like, I feel so great. Why wasn't I doing this? Like,
You're
4
like,
months
all
ago?
right, I got this.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I love that. Do you know, has Justin given you any sort of like ETA of like, all right, we'll probably start prep officially around here, or is it just kind of easing into it gradually?
I think we're like 3 weeks-ish away from like true official prep.
Yeah. And you can officially put it out there that you're in prep.
We're in it, yeah. So I don't even know how much will change. I'm kind of like steadily been losing a little bit of weight already, so
nice.
I'm like tightening up a little bit. So just as long as that's working, I'm not doing a whole lot right now. Like 20 minutes cardio 5 times a week. Like pretty chill. Still eating the same amount of food I was eating like peak off season. So it's pretty chill.
Good.
That's solid.
Really good.
I love hearing that. I love it when all things are like jiving on all cylinders and you're just going through the motions, but it's not like the same thing it's just, I don't know, it just feels good to just have that sense of routine and just checking all the boxes and just knowing that you're doing the things and things are working and moving, which is nice. I definitely kind of, I don't know, I feel like I'm always like a late bloomer in prep. I feel like we've talked about this a couple times. It definitely took like at least like scale wise. I know we always talk about it and like, the scale's not, the only thing, whatever, but I don't know, there is something about like being in a prep and seeing the continual progress on the scale to be like, okay, yeah, we're in prep, things are moving downwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously comparing from like 5-ish weeks ago or so, like things are obviously like much tighter than they were. So that's always nice. But I finally just kind of hit like I just dropped 3 pounds this week. So it feels like a good, like, okay, good. Like, things are kind of kicking in, and I feel like that's usually my kind of sweet spot is at like 5-6 weeks before things really kind of start like, oh, okay, like we're doing this and this is actually like, the game plan, we're doing a prep, and the whole less food, more cardio sort of deal finally starts kicking in. So
yeah, I'm not usually also one of those that like starts prep and loses 10 pounds immediately. My body, I think, tends to be very adaptable, which is great for survival, but not so good for a prep. So it'll take whatever I throw at it and work with it. So instead of recognizing, oh, hey, like now we are in a deficit, it says, okay, this is the new norm.
Exactly.
So good for surviving, but not good for a bodybuilding so much.
Yeah, totally agree. And I definitely feel like that's kind of what we've been coming to terms with, is just we might have to, I mean, we've already started like carb cycling and having lower carb days, high carb days, just to kind of shake things up and I guess confuse my body, like it's not the same kind of consistent calories and shit like that. So I feel like that helps kind of, I don't know, throw things and kind of get things moving for me. So we're pretty much like hitting the ground running right out the gate, and I'm not too upset about it. And I like the idea of being ready maybe a little bit sooner so we can kind of feed up into the show or just kind of play around with whatever, like peak week protocols, kind of figuring that stuff out ahead of time, which is nice. So we'll see how this goes, but so far like things are they're going pretty smoothly so far, so nothing to complain about yet.
Yeah, everything I think for both of us kind of feels at the moment easy. So So
yeah,
better appreciate that while we have it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, for sure. Is Justin in prep yet or no?
Not quite. Yeah, he's still kind of pre-prep cleanup phase. But for him, he has a little more success with like starting and seeing that change right away.
Yeah.
So for him, it'll be a much more straightforward approach, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, heck yeah. Like everybody's doing all the things. Chris is going to be prepping soon, right, Ashlyn? I think that's coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, he's in the prep stage as well, and then I think in March they're looking to officially start and get things rolling. So,
heck
and
yeah.
then from there they'll decide what show they want to do. I think that's kind of the game plan they're working with.
I cut out a little bit from you. What was the last part?
Oh, I said, and then from there they'll kind of decide what show he wants to do.
Sure.
That's the game plan, at least as far as I'm concerned.
Nice. Heck yeah.
Yeah, I just got the thumbs up. Yeah.
You what?
I just got the thumbs up. So yeah, that was correct.
Okay, cool. Hi, Chris.
Hello. Just shouting in the background.
Hello.
Michael's somewhere passed out on a couch.
Chris might be soon to prep.
You what?
Chris might be soon just to prep for their podcast later.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, they are. I guess they probably, I didn't ask Michael if he was doing his tonight, but sounds like it is. Yeah.
I think so. Like at 8 o'clock. It's usually their time frame.
Well, I am just waiting for our guest to get back to me with her email, but really excited for bringing Kelli on and just kind of hearing more about what we can do as female competitors to help this, women's bodybuilding division, whether it be just getting more, I don't know, I guess acknowledgement out there, getting more info out there, getting more, I think just like this constant, you know what I mean? Like there's no way like something can't come of it,
Right.
Like just throwing it, whatever. I mean, obviously I'm going to wait till she gets on to talk more about it, but this is kind of the thing that I feel like a lot of people have been like, well, do something about it. You know what I mean? Like come up with something about it or try to figure out a game plan to implement to, help this division out if obviously we expect it from the federation itself or the, whatever. We'll let Kelli talk more about it when she gets on, but what has been Hunter with your training and everything, we said we're not doing prep this year. Yeah. We're waiting till next year.
Subject to change.
To be determined.
I think it would be, women's bodybuilding, it's a legacy. There are women who walked so we could run. And I think that it would be a shame if I sat on the sidelines and watched a legacy die.
Yeah. I mean,
I think like now more than ever this year, it's like important to show up.
It's so important. Yeah. And it sucks because it's like, Triple O, first show of the season. Who's in prep right now?
Yeah. One.
Which sucks. There's we have a big group chat of all of us, and there's a few women that have said they're doing it, but I think I don't even remember. Was there 3? No, 3 was at New York. I don't remember how many did Triple O last year.
I think it was because I went to New York, and I think it was just 3 girls because obviously Chelsea was there. Yeah.
So that sucks because it's like that's the first show. That's but I don't know.
So overall, how many active competitors do you know are there?
I feel like someone said 60.
Okay, I mean that's pretty good.
I feel like.
Yeah.
But that's everybody. That's masters. That's.
Yeah.
I feel like it was 60. I could be wrong, but.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's got to be like obviously like a tough kind of moral battle, I'm sure. You know what I mean? Of like you had
this is like you can
your
see
plans.
it both ways. Like I get where they're coming from. Like I wouldn't want to put up thousands of dollars if only 2 women showed up either. Like I get that. But it's also like the only solution right now seems to be, well, you just gotta suck it up and, you know, spend thousands to be here, you know, put yourself at risk to be here and just show up. There was even like someone in the group chat said something along the lines of, don't shoot for Olympia this year, just get on the stage.
Just compete.
Facts.
I hate that.
I know.
I hate that because it's like, I
Then
feel
why?
like quality is going to go down. I feel like people have so much pressure, so much stress to do it. And it doesn't have to be that way. Like what?
Like you're saying, like, like obviously, well, no, not obviously, I guess. Like if there are women that didn't initially plan to compete this year that are just like, okay, I guess I'm just going to have to fucking figure it out and do it, you know, and I guess I'll do a prep. I might not have been ready to do a prep, and, you know, that might result in, you know, less conditioned physiques or, you know, not as like stellar physiques as if, you know, I had planned for it originally. But I also wonder, like, I don't know how this could even like go about changing or happening, but like even like pushing out like the starting date of like women's bodybuilding shows from the Olympia. I don't know, because I feel like that's such a quick back-to-back. Quick enough, but like not long enough. You know what I mean? Like obviously, I always forget his damn name. Is it Austin Carr in Vegas? So like obviously that one I feel like is like that's ideal. You know, 4 weeks post Olympia. You've got enough time to either tighten things up or like obviously fill back out, like whatever your feedback was from the Olympia or whatever. But like I feel like, because when is this? When's the triple O? April. Yeah, I feel like that's pretty quick there. But Kelly did just pop on, so I'm gonna bring her into the group. So without further ado, we have Miss Kelli Larkins, IFBB professional bodybuilder, women's bodybuilder. Hello, Kelli.
Hello, everyone. Can you guys hear me fine?
Yeah, we can hear you just perfect. Can I be a super nitpicky bish and ask you to tilt your phone sideways?
Let's do this.
There she is.
There we go.
Perfect. That's great. Heck yeah. Well, hello. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
How's your Sunday been so far?
It's been interesting. I was like, you know, hesitant to schedule it for Sunday because I don't know what is up with my community. Everyone chooses Sunday to like just get crazy. And just like 10 minutes before this, my partner had to go and ask the neighbors to tone down their music because I'm in here and it's just all the windows are vibrating and just music blasting. And I'm just like, oh my God, how's this going to work? So it's been a bit interesting day. I've just been hearing like bass all over the place and all the windows and doors just like about to shatter.
Everybody get party
Saturday, but like Sunday before like the work week. I guess we're trying to like let off some steam before Monday comes around.
Person parties.
So what happened were some kids were like installing some kind of new sound system in their car and they wanted to test it, so they were just like blaring it like crazy. I don't know, and then just like partying in front of their garage. I don't know.
It is kind of obnoxious, but I must say I kind of like the idea that like kids are like getting together and like doing things together. I don't know, having a block party, I guess, you know.
Like just some innocent stuff, I guess.
Yeah. But not always ideal, especially if you're trying to sleep in on a Sunday.
Exactly. I don't mind if I wasn't about to record something. You guys would have just heard that in the background.
I mean, this is nothing formal by any means, but we try to put together a nice podcast. So thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, but why don't we, I would love to start by just kind of introducing yourself and giving us a little bit about yourself and who you are in the bodybuilding space for the viewers that might not know about you or kind of what you do.
Alrighty, so my name is Kelli Larkins. I'm 36. I just became an IFBB pro this past December at Nationals. And I've been bodybuilding for roughly, I'm 36 now, since I was about 19, 20. But I went into figure first, and I was just like there for a bit, like didn't know what I was doing, and then I started decided I wanted to go into bodybuilding because at that time there wasn't a physique, so I was like, okay, it's either stay here or get very muscular. So I was like working towards bodybuilding for a while, and then in the process of competing, I was like 4 weeks out from a show that I actually broke this arm. It snapped like here, and then like another place, so it was just all messed up. It looked kind of funny though and crazy because that scene in Harry Potter when his arms are rubbery. That's how it looked. I didn't even know my arm was broken because I was squatting. It happened. It was a misrack while I was squatting, and then it shattered my arm, and I didn't even know the arm was broken. Also, I went to re-rack everything, and then my arm was just like rubbery, and I was like looking in the mirror. I'm like, oh my god, it's broken.
Oh my god!
Yeah, so I broke my arm.
Did the bar like slide down your back? Like, how did it?
Okay, so like I went to rack, and then when I was about to walk from under, how you walk forward, that's when I realized that this side wasn't in. And then when I saw the way I tried to get out from under it, so it pinned my arm back and like twisted it backwards and snapped it. And I heard something snap. I thought the bar broke, but that was actually my arm breaking. It was so freaking loud. It was insane.
Oh my gosh.
I've snapped that bone before, so I know what that sounds
right?
like.
It's just like, you don't forget that sound.
No, you don't. And it silences the entire room when they hear it. They're like, oh.
Yeah, that happened. Like the people next to me were squatting, were just like looking, like, what was that?
That's terrifying. Oh gosh, so sorry.
But luckily, it sounds crazy. And I guess it was like looking back at it, but during, because you're squatting, you have the adrenaline stuff going on. Like I didn't feel it. I didn't even know I broke anything there. I didn't have any pain for at least like maybe 4 hours. Like I went to the hospital and
That's lucky.
Yeah, it took a while. And so I was like rehabbing from that, and I went to powerlifting because of the rehab process. I was just focusing on strength and because I couldn't even like move the arm, couldn't move my fingers or anything, so I had to like start all over to gain like any feeling in my hand. So I went to powerlifting for a while, and I competed like under a different name for several years, and then I was just doing it just to like get my mind off of bodybuilding because like the doctor told me I wasn't going to be able to like train the way I wanted to, and so I was kind of like in denial. And I went into powerlifting kind of like, I'm going to prove him wrong. And, like, I'm going to fix my arm. I'm going to like get all the strength back and all that stuff. And then, so I was there for a while, and then I stepped away to come back into bodybuilding, and then COVID happened. And then after COVID, my dad passed. And then it's just been this whole long journey of roadblocks and just living life. And then finally I came back, and then I was going through something in my personal life. And then my friend Jacoby, who's also my coach now, reached out to me and was like, dude, like, what's going on? Let's get you back on stage. Let's get your mind right. Like, you need this. You need something to focus on. So I was like, okay, but I wasn't really in the right place to prep, I guess, mentally and physically, because I wasn't really dieting. I wasn't really training. I was barely eating whatever. And like he gave me like structure, and then we did the best we could and stepped on stage, got my pro card, and now I'm here.
That's awesome. And your mom.
And I got my pro card, did the best we could with what we had. Walked away with not only a pro card, but I'm pretty sure the overall for women's bodybuilding at nationals last year.
Oh, awesome. You did?
No, sorry. No, you. Was it you?
You.
No, I didn't win overall. I believe Taylor was her name. Taylor is her name. Taylor, I can't pronounce her last name. I don't know if it's Smuck or
okay, yeah.
She has like long, like brown hair with highlights. I think her name is Taylor. She won the overall. I did not. Yeah.
Oh, heck yeah. Well, regardless, very amazing feat for you. Especially with going through all of that. And I mean, I would not have been able to tell that you broke your arm based on any of your photos. It doesn't seem like
really? Like it's like,
oh gosh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Want to share scar stories? Scars, Ashley?
Well, mine was just from arm wrestling. It literally just snapped.
Oh, no.
Oh, my gosh.
Like, snapped back. My dad was like, are you okay? No, I'm not.
No.
So yours was probably a spiral fracture too, right?
Since it was spiral fracture.
Yeah, that's how mine was.
They did a plate basically from shoulder to elbow, 13 pins all the way from top to bottom. And like now it's indestructible, but do you still get like structural pain with yours in certain movements, like especially like bench press or anything, really any sort of overhead movement?
Not I used to in the bench press. So when I was powerlifting, I actually had to do a reverse grip press to avoid that pain. Because like when I was doing overhand, I would feel like pain right here.
Right through there, yeah.
Yeah, but now I don't on pressing movements. Where I do feel pain is if I'm like holding something and I'm like supinating. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I get that pain then, and it gets achy sometimes.
You would only reverse grip bench?
Yeah, I would reverse grip bench. That's how I was like trying to avoid that pain. Yeah.
Oh wow.
I used to love doing reverse grip. I haven't done it in so long.
How was it?
I used to love doing like reverse grip benching.
Oh yeah, right. It's
when
it's a different
you
feeling.
didn't know what I was doing in the gym, and it feels like good. I don't know. I think you use your lats a lot more and like your biceps.
Yeah, it does. I like the feeling. It's much different.
That's funny. Did you compete in powerlifting?
Yeah, I did actually. I competed like 4 times.
That's awesome.
My first competition wasn't even sanctioned. It was like this like little rinky-dink gym in Topeka, Kansas. And then the second one, I competed, and I believe my total was like around 1,400 or so. That was like my first actual competition. And then I went to Bosses that year. I competed against Shakira Holcomb at that time.
Yeah.
Oh
my gosh, that's awesome.
Heck yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it was fun. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know anybody backstage, and I was like, I feel like I don't belong here. Everybody was like hyped up and serious, and I'm just like, I don't know what's going on here. Like, you know.
That's hilarious.
I'm always curious to ask this, and I know I've like asked Hunter a million times about her training compared to bodybuilding versus powerlifting. Do you prefer one over the other, or do you get more excited for one style versus the other?
Honestly, I do a mixture of both, like especially like on my I guess my movements that aren't more, what do you want to call that, accessory movements. I do do more powerlifting stuff. I probably shouldn't be squatting that much, but like I'll be squatting, you know, like 4 plates for 15 to 20 reps and things like that. It's like it's very taxing, but I do I like training heavy. But on the other end, it does get boring after a while. That's what kind of happened with powerlifting, because I was like, I want to do other stuff. Like I want to.
There's not much variation.
Yes, exactly. It's like, yeah. It's I enjoy a mixture of both, because even in bodybuilding with all this other stuff, I'm like, dude, I want to just lift heavy, because like my coach would be like, oh no, let's work within this rep range, not push too much.
Yeah.
Like, there are some days where I want
to
push
I don't
more.
want to. Yeah, I'm gonna go for it today.
Yeah, I'll do that. You're like, okay. Like, I don't want to send them my like whole training log. I'm like, yeah, I didn't really do everything you told me to do. Yeah.
Well, like that's so, I know we've talked about it a few times on this podcast, but like it's so important to be in tune with your training and love your training and be excited for it. And like obviously, like there are days, I'm sure we all have them, where like going to the gym is probably the last thing you want to do, or you know, whatever muscle group, it's I don't want to fucking go train push right now, or whatever it is. But I don't know, like to some degree, like you still have to, you know, be excited for your training and let it be something that kind of, you know, isn't just this like stalemate, like, ugh, I don't know, because it just doesn't translate, right? Like, if you do boring, you're not going to put in as much effort versus like, you know, hey, I'm getting under a fucking bar and squatting 4 plates, and that's badass, and I feel strong as shit, you know? So I do always appreciate people when they're like, I'm just going to try this for like a 1 rep max, or something, you know, I'm just going to try and see if I can't deadlift these 3-4 plates. You know, Jasmine and I were doing that.
Yeah, we always, we had a little moment.
And I think, you know, with my coach, Justin, you know, I told him the funk I was going through, where it's like, you know, when you're following, because like my program, I don't have a lot of deviation. Yeah, my weight changes, the weight I work with, but like I'll have the same program for maybe like 6 to 8 months. So it does get boring. You know, you're like, damn, I'm doing the same shit. So like this past week, my coach was like, it's healthy, just go in there. Sometimes you just have to step away from it and just do, you know, kind of just improvise your training. Go with what feels good.
Here, absolutely. I think it's really important for people to hear it too, though, because I can't tell you how many clients I've had that are like, so, you know, it's been like 3-4 weeks and I've been doing the same exercises. Like, when are we going to switch things up? And it's like, girlfriend, you're in this for like 8 to 12 months. So get comfy and get used to it, you know? But yeah, I often find that's a misconceived kind of notion of like, okay, we should be like changing it up every 3 to 4 weeks, right? And
I've noticed that, and I feel like they get that idea from social media, because I'll see like accounts like if your coach hasn't changed your training in like 3 weeks or 2 weeks, they're just taking your money, or like I'll see stuff on Instagram like that. So I think that's where they're getting that idea from.
Yeah, I do see a lot of these, like, that's super hard too, right? Because obviously so much information is out there, but it's almost like too much information is out there. And then you've got people that have nothing that are putting information out there just to, obviously, they're trying to make the dollar, and they're trying to be the person to get the clients and stuff. And yeah, it leads to a lot of just miscommunication and not really knowing what to do or how to kind of, I don't know, get involved in the sport or how to start. And I don't know how we avoid that, but just, I don't know, watch out for people, I guess.
Yeah, no, I totally get that from their perspective. Although, like, yeah, I think some of us had started before, like, it was like pretty popular online. Back then, like, we didn't have, like, yeah, Instagram was there, but all we had were shitty filters, and we were just taking pictures of things that nobody had interest in. And like, so it's like we didn't have as much information, but like I can see that now, because like getting into vlogging and stuff on my YouTube, I'm like, what do I need? And I'm going out there and I'm like, there's so much information. And then I look at this thing, I was like, so pretty much I have to spend $20,000 to start my YouTube channel. Like I can kind of like understand from their perspective, where they don't know where to start, because this person's telling them that person's telling me that. So it's like, what is really what I need, and to start? And like the answer is just a bare minimum, like simple, like a basic simple plan, and just go with it and alter it along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you don't need all the high-end stuff. You don't need the fancy equipment. You don't need the fancy exercises with the eccentrics and the concentrics and the the fancy lifting shoes and like all of these things that I feel like people overwhelm themselves to the point where it's like, I'm just not going to do this. You know what I mean? Like it's too much, too overwhelming. It's a complete, I feel like people just try to do this 180. And it just completely kind of puts you in this position of like analysis by paralysis, or paralysis by analysis. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm very much a firm believer though, that unless you have the basics covered, you shouldn't be like jumping into that thing, like lifting straps, belts, or the whole nine.
You don't need all that.
If you can't like hold the bar, don't put on straps. Like work on grip strength. And
right.
But I feel like they're just being skipped now, and everyone's like, "I need this." No, you don't. You just need to learn. Like that's really
yeah. And they try to focus on overloading on their exercises, and it's like they haven't gotten to that point yet
where it's actually practical.
You don't even know intensity yet.
Kelli, you're doing Atlanta, right?
Yes, that'll be my first pro show. I wanted to do the Triple O Dynasty, but like on a health, looking at it from a health standpoint, it wouldn't have been the right move for me, since I just did a 20-week prep for December, and that wasn't like enough downtime.
That's exactly what Hunter was saying.
That's what we were
just before you popped on, we were talking about that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what I had just said before you hopped on actually was, I don't know, like the shows post Olympia, or at least like the start of the season, right? So like obviously Triple O, I think start for at least women bodybuilding. I don't know if it at least gets like pushed out. I think like May, or well, I don't know. And then you have people like, oh, that's not enough time to qualify for the Olympia, I guess. But I don't know. Like it is hard because Hunter was saying like nobody's really signed up for the show, or it doesn't seem like a lot of ladies are doing the show. And it's just like, what can you do? You know what I mean? Like it's not enough time from the Olympia, and then it's also, I think, or it's too much time from the Olympia, but also like I think it's like really early in the season too. So I feel like it's hard for women like yourself, who are like, I would really love to do it, and it looks like an awesome show, and I want to support, and I want to, do all the things, but if it puts you in a bad position health wise, obviously that's definitely not a good.
No.
Yeah, and like I believe like Hunter, you're a part of the group that we're in, the WBB group. A lot of, I think out of from what I counted, maybe like 6 to 8 women were saying that they might do it. I don't know if they're actually committed to it yet. Yeah, but as you're saying, I feel like it's kind of like a catch-22. It's like not too far out from Olympia, but then it seems a bit close, because like since they don't have that point system, if you don't get that Olympia qualification, you're gonna have to decide to stay in like a form of prep or close to it to try to do another show, another qualifier. So it can bite you in the ass if you commit to that to Triple O.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true, actually. Because then I think you have New York after that. That's the next one after, I think.
Is New York back on? I thought they removed it.
It is not.
Oh, they were all the time.
Out of New York.
Chicago and New York, I think, don't have them now.
Yeah.
Well, this is why we have you on, Kelly. This is the whole reason why we've got you on to talk about all of this. So
yeah, it's.
What about the Steve Carr show? Does he have women's bodybuilding in there?
He does. He does.
Okay.
But that is 4 weeks after. Last year it was 4 weeks after Olympia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is a good, a good timeline. At least I thought last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then you can just kind of like repeat yourself and do it.
Yeah.
You can run right in. Yeah. So how many shows have we now got for women's bodybuilding? What are we looking at?
I think 8.
8 shows. 8 shows.
Wow. And that includes international.
12.
8. I think 8.
And then Steve Carr, Carr, Romania. Those are all after Olympia.
Yeah.
So 12. Yeah.
And then I think 8 in the US is probably sounds about right, Kelly. 6 to 8 in the US. So yeah, I would really love to kind of hear a little bit more about what you and the other women in the division are trying to do about this and kind of what noise you guys are trying to raise here.
For Hunter, I think we can like kind of piggyback off of each other on this one because we're both in the group. From what I've read, I haven't checked in today because like a lot gets said, and then, I'm just trying to play catch up and like make sense of everything. But from my understanding, a lot of us have different strengths outside of bodybuilding, like personally, professionally, or things that we're into, that I feel like each of us can collectively contribute in some way to I don't want to say bring back women's bodybuilding, but make it back. I don't want to say back to what it was, but they see us and they don't understand why we do this, and it just seems like why are they doing that? Nobody wants to see that, and like I see that even on the promoters, and I'll see them in the comments of like some post, and they have their biased opinion about it, and it's like, wow, these people who are putting on these shows think that about us, like, and then in my mind, I'm like, I'm not gonna do their show. I'm writing this thing down. I'm like, fuck your show next year. But that's like petty me. But anyhow, I think that we can work together and let's say like Chelsea, she's an awesome photographer. And I believe, and then she's also been in a documentary similar to what I'm working on having. We're in a pre-production phase, and I haven't seen that documentary. I've actually looked for it, wasn't able to find it. I wasn't sure if it was available on Amazon or anywhere else, but I saw like reels of it, and I think it's a great documentary. And on my end, what I would like to do, what I'm going to do is have more women a part of it and make this a series throughout the year, next year. So there are going to be many women who are going to be highlighted on that. And each series is going to have 8 women on highlighted, and each episode will have 8 women that you're watching, not just one episode devoted to one athlete. So, and then also in order to reach a different audience or various audiences, like the younger crowd, the older crowd, that's where my casting is aimed to, what we're aiming on doing is having a various ages and different backgrounds. Like I'm looking at somebody who's like 21, 20, trying to get into bodybuilding. They're at the amateur level. They're going through their struggles, something that I could have related to when I was doing that, let's say if I was doing that in my teen years, but I can't relate to that right now because I'm a professional I'm 36. And then, so I think having various women from different backgrounds, different age groups, different upbringings is going to allow us to connect with a bigger crowd. And although not everyone's going to be like, yeah, I want to do bodybuilding, I think giving them that background of where we come from, all of us individually, is going to allow them to see it on a, like, humanize the sport and also understand. That's my goal is, like, people ask why I'm doing this. It's not, I don't think we're going to make tons of money off of it. But what I would like after somebody views this who's not into bodybuilding is like, wow, now I understand, I have a deeper understanding of why somebody would want to do this. Why, let's say, Hunter went into bodybuilding after her powerlifting career, or if you're still competing, or like, what drives you, what motivates you, what have you been through? And I feel like other people who are going through these things are struggling, who may not know what to do to help them through those things, might benefit off of our stories and seeing of what we go through, what we've overcame, and not just like look at us like, oh, that's gross, because that's usually the main feedback that I get from outsiders in the public. That, or it's the total opposite. They're like, wow, like, because I just went to like a festival the other day, like a music festival, and there are so many people who are like, oh my God, your body's so amazing, beautiful. And like, they see us on stage just for, like 15-30 seconds. And the shots that are put online, they see us at our leanest, and they don't see us like not like that. And they're like, I thought, how can you be so feminine and, still be that lean on stage? They don't think that we can be both. And I think that's also why I don't want to say there isn't, but people think that this is a niche and that there's not a crowd for it, or people who would be interested in what we do. But I know it's out there, and I feel that, if you know Hunter, Jasmine, if you've been to like expos that aren't bodybuilding related, let's say Comic-Con or things like that, everyone's amazed with our physique. We have so many fans out there. And I feel like that's an untapped area that we can also get into. And with this series, a lot of us consume content on our phones opposed to sitting in front of a TV or going to the theater. So with this series, we're going to premiere on Amazon as a downloadable it's going to be like a 3-hour movie in total. That's how it's going to be premiered at first. But after, several weeks, we're going to actually release it in little digestible episodes.
Hell yeah.
I think that's also going to help.
Absolutely.
I think, just kind of piggybacking off of that, a lot of the women at the top of the sport, they're kind of quiet online. Like, they don't talk a lot. They don't have YouTubes. There's not a lot of vlogging done by the women at the top. So that was one thing that they brought up, is having more of a social media presence. Because a lot of the guys, they're into media, they're making content, they're on YouTube, they're constantly putting shit out, and people get excited for that. People want to be a part of that. But I mean, if you think of any of the women at the top, everybody's pretty quiet. And I don't know if that's just because they don't want the negative, feedback, like, oh, that's disgusting.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. You get those comments not just from outside people, but from people in the community, from other bodybuilders. Who will make negative.
Are we all not doing the same thing? Like, aren't we all doing the same fucking thing?
Yeah, and no matter what level of muscularity, or virilized or non-virilized, you'll get comments. It's a given. It's 100% for sure. And men get their fair share of comments too about who knows, you're gonna die or whatever they get, but definitely women receive a much harsher and more kind of personalized attack on who you are, what you look like, your values. And so putting stuff out there, you are opening yourself up to receiving comments like that, or to receiving weird muscle worshipping people. It's like getting genuine fans as a muscular female is really difficult.
So I think that kind of turns a lot of the women off from being as social online, for sure.
Yeah, because I just don't want to deal with it. I don't. You have to have a really tough exterior, tough skin, thick skin, to handle that, because it can get to you no matter if you are confident in yourself or not. You get a few comments calling you out, and it gets to you.
Yeah, for sure.
No, I did. In the beginning, when I was younger, when I started using social media more on Instagram to document my bodybuilding, it did get to me where I'd be training and I'm like, okay, let me just like rest. I'm going to rest for like a minute and a half. Let me just scroll through and I see these things in my inbox and they're just like, oh, like, how can you like, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, just go kill yourself. How can you look like that? And I'm like, bro, I don't want to train. Or like, I'll get so frustrated. So it would bother, after a point, just hearing negative comments, again and again and again, it does
like,
kind of drain you.
Post? Why do I even put my
yeah, and it drains you, and you're just like,
I don't know if you guys saw, but Brianni posted like a little cooking vlog, like nothing serious. The woman was cooking potatoes, and they're literally people in the comments like bashing her for the soap that she used, bashing her for like her food preparation, like cleanliness, like all this shit. And Brandy's like, this is why I don't post.
Yeah, what
this is why.
That's
why
insane.
are we arguing about the soap that I'm using?
Yeah. And it's like you could turn off like comments, but it's just like obviously that kind of negates the whole fact of like trying to get engagement and like get people like conversing and stuff like that. And I honestly like I wouldn't doubt if this also ties into maybe like you were saying, Kelly, like there's definitely people out there, there's women out there that want to do this, but I'm sure like seeing some of this is like, I don't want to have to deal with this. You know what I mean? Like I'd love to get on stage and I'd love to do more of this, but I don't necessarily want to have to deal with the, getting the brunt of the assholes that are out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think like what you guys are doing is really awesome. I mean, we don't, like Hunter was saying, there isn't a lot of like, there's no story behind a lot of you women, you know what I mean? Or a lot of us, we don't, for some reason, this isn't something that we want to do or get behind. But I know, I remember when we were chatting about it was quite a few episodes ago, but just like giving people like something to kind of tune into and like, oh, like what's going on with Kelly during her prep, like, oh, last week she said that she had this going on and like I wonder how that's improved, or oh no, like so and so is a little bit behind, let's see if they caught up this week in the next couple of weeks or whatever. I don't know, like you're saying, Kelly, like the humanizing part of it I think is really big, and like we're not just women with muscle and impressive physiques. Like we're humans, we're women, we are women, and we have emotions, we have feelings, we have shit that goes on in our lives just like everybody else does. And I think this is a really good way to kind of to put that out there. Like this is who you're fucking talking to. This is who you're telling to go kill themselves. And broke their arm and had to pause the thing that they loved doing for 6-7 years or whatever. Like I don't know, I think that people don't think about that, obviously, as little keyboard warriors when they're typing their little comments. They don't see that stuff.
And as Jasmine was saying, like a lot of women I feel like we're scrutinized more than the men for things that they'll give men a pass on things, like let's say their comments or their point of view or something. But if a female like the females in bodybuilding say something, or even like physique, or we have an opinion on something, we're being bitches or this and that, or they're like, oh, why, like we're just, I don't know, not allowed to also be our own person or have our opinions on things. But guys can say what they want in a bodybuilding sport. I've seen this with, I know it's a I don't know if it's a very a topic to talk about, but the whole Sarah thing with her saying what she's posting, and it's like they're saying she's just salty, but then the people who are calling her salty, I knew, like, I'm gonna call him out. I don't think he's gonna watch this podcast, but Sean Ray, they've had their fair share of shit talking. They've had their fair share of shit talking along the way, and it's like, we didn't forget things that you said about other competitors. You're shit talking, so why are guys allowed to say it? And it's like, oh, that's just a part of the sport. But if women have something to say, it's like they're just being salty and they want us to shut up. I don't
like when Linda Murray was talking about the prize money, etc. So everyone just told her, well, shut up, you guys don't bring anything. So it was seen as it was seen as complaining.
Right. It's like, oh, you're given a platform, just be happy with that. Like, no, like we work our asses off, like to only give, let's say, Miss Olympia, I believe it's now what, 50,000, 40,000, and nothing against Derek. I follow him, like I watch his stuff, but they give that person over 500K. That's insane. Or even classic physique, their prize money I feel is low as well.
I was gonna say it's and obviously, like, we know at the end of the day, like bodybuilding's like the big Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like that's the main category that a lot of people are into watching. But it's like, okay, like I am also putting in the same amount of time and effort and money, and yes, it's a pay to play sport, and we know that getting into it. But it's also like you kind of do it with the expectance of like, okay, if I am climbing up the ladder and I'm doing well and I get to the fucking Olympia, like I should get what I think is deserved in the way of prize money and sponsorships and stuff like that. And I mean, of course the big thing is just showing people that like it's a desired division, and it's not dead, not going anywhere. To me, like women's bodybuilding is literally what men's bodybuilding is for the men's divisions. You know what I mean? Like this is the pinnacle of our sport. These are the women that are at the top, pushing the extremes of their physiques and having no regrets about it. And I don't know, it's no different than what the male bodybuilders do. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, the same amount of respect is deserved for sure. So it's really hard to see when it's not given.
Yeah, I think, socially, society is conditioned to not, and like muscular women, you're conditioned to think they're freaks or, whatever. So that's why you see, I think, some of the upper divisions just not getting that much popularity, because it all ties into that belief that, muscular women are abominations or freaks. And that's why you see wellness in bikinis like so popular, because that is aligned with like society's desired version of a female,
what a woman should look like.
And so when it goes against that, you're just not gonna see that general support, which is really unfortunate. That in order to receive support, you have to be desirable or sexually attractive in some way, and that's just something we're always going to be fighting. Like that's society, and we're just going to have to keep fighting that battle always.
And kind of one, I feel like something I kind of want to squash this whole like, oh well, it's a viewership thing, it's a a desirability thing amongst the masses or whatever. What the fuck up with Fit Model then? Why do we have a bajillion Fit Model pro shows this year? I don't know how many, but I'm confident it's much more than women's bodybuilding.
Yeah.
We've heard across the board that no one cares about watching Fit Model, or Fit Model's not the division to watch. So it's like, why? I would not, and it sucks to say, but like I would not be surprised if like prize monies eventually get to the same level as every other female division. And it's just, I don't know, I guess how that can be a point made of like viewership. You know what I mean? Because it's like, obviously, again, I've heard more backlash about Fit Model being introduced than I have heard, I guess, like support of it. So it's, I don't know, I guess, I don't know, not something that's a correlated mention. You know what I mean? Like it's just, I don't know. I don't think that's a valid statement to make, but
that you're saying that because Fit Model is not very popular amongst kind of like the general bodybuilding community, and that people aren't paying money, live stream and tickets to go watch that. Right. Why are they saying that that's the reason for women's bodybuilding not being popular? Yeah, but then again, you have a million Fit Model shows. I don't know what their money is like or their sponsorship. Yeah, I don't know if they're getting any, but yeah, if you're gonna call that the reason why, and then introduce a new division that doesn't have the support, then that's not a reason.
Because from like an outside stance, it doesn't have a bodybuilder's support, but it has more support from the Gen Pop. And I think that's what the NPC and the IFBB is trying to rope in, is more support from general pop, where they're going to get more acceptance from the smaller Fit Model divisions than they would like women's physique, women's bodybuilding. Because we've seen this whole stream where they've taken out women's bodybuilding, and then you have everything trickling down into women's physique and then women's figure. And then all of the divisions become just a warped shit show, for lack of better terms, because no one knows what criteria fits what division anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's another point too. We need to like
clear cut that shit.
Yeah. Our lines are so blurry.
especially for the women. I feel like more so for the women than the men.
Absolutely.
Each division, it seems, gets bigger and bigger each year. And at the top, when you're at the top, you're telling me that I have to be 200 something at 5'4", probably. Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, probably in the off season to attain that level of muscle to keep up with this rising, just
muscularity growth.
Not
like a size empire is what it becomes.
Yeah, it is confusing between women's physique and you have, I think she's amazing, right? Meg Scooby, but she's
incredible.
She's amazing, right? But she's 230 pounds off, barely lean. Yeah, when do you say
there are men's open that don't look like that at 230?
I think she would do well in either division. Obviously, she's incredible, but who says, who's gonna say when that line is crossed?
Yeah, I know what you mean for sure. I imagine just based on like a little comment that she put in one of her posts, I'm not going to women's bodybuilding.
Yeah, she doesn't want to.
Like, obviously the plan. And if I had to guess, it probably is. I shouldn't guess at all, and obviously we should just ask her this question. But I would like to
have her on.
I know, probably wanting to marinate in that division. You know what I mean, and kind of having because she went from figure to wellness.
She hasn't been in it that long.
Yeah, exactly. So I wouldn't doubt if it's partly just wanting to have some presence in that division before graduating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think her structure, she would definitely do well, and
absolutely,
her ability to put on muscle obviously is really good. She definitely blew up.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I think she stopped trying to hold back. From wellness, she was like, "All right, let's go for it."
Yeah.
Yep. No, it's incredible. I'm really excited for her season this year and how well she does.
I think she's doing that Atlanta as well. That's her first show, I think.
Yeah, I think she's I'm really excited just to see what an actual off season without that limitations.
Yes.
Because she kind of jumped into that the physique show kind of off the back of a wellness prep, right? So like there was no true. I'm so excited to see.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll hear it.
So right now in the group chat today, they've been talking about putting together basically like a ambassador program or like a panel of women who can voice all of our, like have just one collective to talk to the IFBB, which I think that would be a really good idea too. But yeah, it's hard right now. It makes me angry and makes me sad that it's going like this. But
I don't know. All we can do is obviously put forth these efforts, and I think like in the time that I've been in bodybuilding, this feels like a very transitionary. Like people are doing things. You know what I mean? Like it seems like there are moves being made, and just forward momentum being implemented, which I think is a positive for sure.
Absolutely.
Again, in my head, like there's no way it can't go up from here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopeful thinking, but I know you also, Kelli, have a GoFundMe going, which I have obviously put in our little banner thing that's scrolling across the bottom. I'm also going to include it in our YouTube description, so everybody go take a look down below. But can you tell us a little bit more about that and what that is meant for? Is it like for prize money for women's shows? Are you guys planning on gifting this to a promoter of a show to offer like sanction fees for a women's bodybuilding show being implemented? Or what's the dealio?
So those are all good questions. And the GoFundMe is for a combination of all of which you just stated. And Hunter brought up, I haven't gotten to the group chat yet about how, we're thinking of starting a form of ambassadorship. I assume it's for the new page that was created, the WBB page.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so with the media page I have for the docuseries, I am also going to be just creating content with women who are open to collaborating with me. And in return, I'm going to be giving a sort of sponsorship to every woman who creates content on there. So the GoFundMe will go to that as well. Oh, sorry. I was like, did I get cut off? So anyone who creates content with me, whether that's collabing on on reels and having them train in the gym, they're going to be receiving a form of royalty like musicians receive. Once they create a piece of work, they're getting royalties for the lifetime of that content that is created. So that's how I'm setting up my page. And I'm going to be working with Brand Champ, which is an application that brands use for their ambassadors or affiliates, and that's how they keep track of things. And you can input your information, your bank account, and cash out the money that you collect from the posts, what's being generated. And so 25% of the proceeds that is made from, whether it's from the sales of the series, people donating, or any money made from Beyond Physique Bodybuilding, 25% of that is going back to the athletes, and the rest of the funds are going towards creating the content, because I have to pay our videographer. And also for the series, the budget for this series is 40,000. I already have a sponsor who donated 20,000. I'm getting other sponsors donating suits. And also the athletes who partake in the series are also going to have their competition expenses covered. Their suits are going to be donated, and they're going to also receive their hair, makeup, everything is going to be covered. And this was my way of encouraging more women to get on stage, because one thing that we've talked about in the group is why women don't do as many shows or are sitting out is because of financials. They have their own life, they have children, they have everything going on, they're working 2 or 3 jobs, or they can only save for one show or 2 shows. So this was my way of helping more women get back on stage and covering that so they don't have to be worried, or how am I going to pay this? So we're Beyond the Physique, when you're in the series, we're paying for your prep to get on stage. We're covering it.
That's
incredible. That's amazing, because that is one thing, men don't usually have much better sponsor deals. They get their flights taken care of, they get they don't obviously have to do hair and makeup, and their trunks are $20. So their cost to entry is very
low in comparison.
Yeah.
Whereas at the bodybuilding level, when I paid for my hair and makeup, my hair was $185, my makeup was $185, and then your tan is around the same price, and then your suits anywhere from the low end, it's $400 all the way to $2,000, depending on how elaborate you want it. And then it adds up, and by the end, getting the Airbnb or hotel room, for nationals, my everything was around $2,500 to $3,000. Because then you're paying your coach as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and that's another thing, is most male IFBB pros don't, top guys don't, their coaches aren't charging them. Most of them aren't. Was from what I hear. So that's another thing. They get their sponsors to pay for their travel and their costs, and they don't have to pay for all that hair and makeup. They don't have to pay for their coach. So they can enter 4, 5, 6 shows, a season, and it's really not that big of a deal.
No,
and the health cost to a male athlete are still there, but the sterilization risks are not. So you have to consider that as a female, on top
exactly. Of that. That's another thing too. So they want us to, when I've seen Linda post about trying to encourage women to compete more often, commit to more shows, it's the requirements for women's bodybuilding, we're harder now than they were back in the 90s. And then also from a health standpoint, virilization, it's they want us to remain very feminine, very pretty, and it's but it's what they expect so much from us. It's very stressful.
Do you want the femininity, or do you want the hard work and the physique? You gotta You can have both. I'm not saying you can't have both, but it's putting the pressure on.
You have to juggle. You have to consider time off and then dosage and duration, and but then you want them to compete in 4, 5, 6 shows and do the Olympia and pay for everything and still look like and sound like a woman, like and be really huge and really conditioned. Like, God damn. That's a lot to ask for.
Funny. So that's not an exaggeration.
That's what they want.
That is what it is.
Yes.
Like you're asking for a miracle, but okay, let me give it to you.
Yeah. So I mean, honestly, Kelli, it sounds like that's what you're providing is like a little bit of that miracle to help these women not feel so stressed and like they can't do this. Because again, like Hunter was kind of mentioning before you hopped on, like, okay, like now are we going to see women that didn't initially intend to compete but feel the pressure to compete because everybody's sitting here saying like, well, be in more shows, compete in more shows, show up. And it's like, okay, if we do and we're not in shape, then you're going to bash us for that too. But we weren't ready to do this. We weren't prepared to do this,
Exactly. And I was kind of feeling that way too. Cause like I was speaking to my coach, I was like, dude, I feel pressured right now. Like I feel like kind of like bad that I'm waiting until like Atlanta. Like, should I just do triple O? And he was like, this is your pro debut. You only get one pro debut. You want to feel like you're ready for it and that, not just rushing yourself. It's like, it was like, you're new to this. Let somebody else step in there. And you're also working on this docuseries. Like you have a lot on your plate. Like you're going to be doing your part. So don't feel bad about it. He had to like calm me down. Cause I was like, I
gotta do it.
Like I'm ready to go.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, and another point I was thinking is that like also men, this is their job. You guys, everyone, most other female competitors have other jobs. Like Hunter, you have a job. Like Martin, Samson, Derek, they don't have to go to work. The bodybuilding is their job. They're making content, etc. But most other top female competitors don't get the same sponsorship, so they got to go to work.
Yeah, exactly. Gotta get that 9 to 5 or those like
okay, like all right, where can I please have 30 days off to do all these shows?
Yeah, I mean that's another thing too, right? So obviously, like working a job, you have to plan accordingly for vacation time, and hopefully you have a flexible employer that is willing to work with your schedule with that, and that obviously we are not being very black and white, and we understand that there are plenty of open bodybuilders that still work jobs and do all that. But when we're talking at this like really top level, a lot of those guys are like
the top 15. I don't think any of them have a job.
Yeah, I mean even Michael, my boyfriend, like he, in a responsible way, literally made his life work for bodybuilding. He made sure he had a proper job that allowed him to eat the meals, that allowed him to get out on time to be able to go train at a decent hour. To you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know, not that we don't have that same luxury. I guess we could too, but again, like when it all comes down to it, like I do think our expenses are much higher, obviously, with everything that we've been listing. So I think having a way to kind of help a division that feels like it needs that push and that assistance. This is going to be really exciting to kind of watch flourish. And do you have like a projected drop of when this first like movie of the series is going to be?
Okay, so casting ends on February 28th, and then my first scheduled shoot is with Anastasia. She's I don't know if you guys seen on our page. We just released. She's our first athlete for the series, so I'm going to start shooting with her in March. She's going out of the country, so I have to fit into her schedule as well. So it's in March, and then we have to work with the other athletes. So shooting should be done around Olympia because I don't want to give any spoilers, but one of our athletes is, going to the Olympia. So we want to get, her prep on footage. And so the viewers can, be a part of that experience, her journey to the stage and, all the struggles and, just how she manages her schedule to be on stage because she also, juggles a lot in her daily life. And so we are planning on premiering this in December. I was feeling National Week would be the week of nationals would be a great week to premiere it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And then like in the
That's
bodybuilding
great.
world, I was looking at, if you look at your algorithm on Instagram, that's when there's like a huge spike in viewership in bodybuilding is around the week of nationals from December to January.
Yeah.
Interesting. That makes sense. Oh, crazy. Yeah, I remember, I think the first time I saw, is it Anastasia or Anastasia?
I've heard it both ways. I call her Anastasia, but
okay. Was probably like back in 2018 or 19, and she's just made such tremendous progress since then. I think has she always been doing bodybuilding, or has she kind of made the progression up? Because I think she was doing women's physique at one point, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm lying about that. Maybe she's always been a bodybuilder, but yeah, incredible first athlete for sure to cover.
I've
Are
seen
you
her
going
in
to
women's
be
physique. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So she has been in.
Yeah. She went pro in
are you-
bodybuilding. And she's located
Oh,
in
sure.
Tampa. And I was actually a member of her gym like a few years ago when she had FAM in Tampa.
Oh yeah, FAM Tampa. Yep. Yeah, heck yeah. So when are you guys, or when, I guess, are you doing this on like a weekly basis of like releasing these athletes, these women, or
So every
do you
2
already
weeks.
have that? Yeah, every 2 weeks. Cool.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Sweet. I'm really excited. I'm really stoked for this. I think this is I don't know.
I'm excited
feel
for
like
it too.
I'm such a not creative in the way of like, I want to help, but how the hell can I help? You know what I mean? So I think having this kind of structure is helpful for the people like myself of like, how can we get involved in like how much more could I do aside from just releasing a podcast that has on, muscly division women. So I think this is a really great direction to kind of head into to help out the women's bodybuilders. So kudos to you. Yeah.
We appreciate you even wanting to step up and help. We appreciate that a lot.
Thank you. So I wanted to talk a little bit on that because like the idea of the series isn't just to, document the women and their process to allow people who aren't in the bodybuilding industry to connect with us, but also to, I would like to, I don't want to say change the industry, but with how I'm setting up the platform to benefit, those who are creating content, I would like for the athletes to actually get back because as we say, this is a game, this is a sport that you have to pay to play. But I want to somehow start a movement where, when, let's say Hunter creates content for a page, I don't want to be like, oh, you should be happy to be on our platform. Like she's an athlete, she's a professional. She should be paid for her content, her time. And if she chooses to donate her time, that should be Hunter's choice. That shouldn't be like, this is a standard, you're a female bodybuilder. Whereas let's say another known male bodybuilder in a sport, like just for like nothing against Martin, he's just a name that comes out and I saw him like a few weeks ago. Like let's say him, that the same person will probably approach him like, hey Martin, I want you on my page, I want to highlight you. What's your price to be highlighted? Whereas a female bodybuilder, they assume that we're gonna, do it for free and give our time. And I feel like doing the series and creating the page, the media page, and is gonna help start this movement where we are seen as respected athletes and are treated as such. And also for the page, for women who are sending in their application, if you're not chosen for the series, I'm keeping every application that comes in. And I'm going to keep you in mind for future content, future series, because this isn't a one and done thing. And for the content on our page, my goal is to allow women who don't, one, have an elaborate setup, can't pay some kid to follow them for like, for $300 during the week to follow their training and their daily life. I want to give them an opportunity to have a platform so they can, once they're chosen, they don't have to come out of their pocket. They just show up, or I show up where they are at, and then we film their content, and they have, they're able to have their content on our page, highlight them, give as much information about themselves, tell us their story from their perspective. And that's another thing with the series. Like, there are bodybuilding documentaries out there on female bodybuilders, but have they been told from a female bodybuilder's perspective? If you don't have, like, I'm going to quote Betsy Cassie on this, if you don't have like the passion for it, then your film won't have that passion in it. So I want this series to be told from the female bodybuilding perspective, where it's not somebody who, no shade on, film, like past films or documentaries, but most of the time they're from people who aren't within the sport, who aren't competitive athletes, and they're trying, they're observing us, but it doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel like they're telling us their story. They're just being observed. And from the series, we want to come from a observatory standpoint, but also expository and somewhat poetic. And you want to be, we're going to have moments where each athlete is going to be able to have a voiceover narrating their portion of their training, or however they want to come at it. And I'm going to be collaborating with each athlete one-on-one on, like, hey, how do you want to be filmed? How do you want to be presented? What do you want it shown? Like, what do you want not to be shown? They're in charge almost at everything, and deciding what shoots they want, how they want, the tone of their segment, and what music, obviously I'm sourcing music and I have to work with that, but I want to know, like, what do they like? I go to Anastasia's page and I kind of like, okay, she's very edgy, so her portion is going to be like that. I don't want to tell her from my perspective, and I like put what I want the series to look like, where I'm more, I don't want to say like I'm edgy, but like I like classical music. I like the combination of metal. Anastasia might like something different. So I don't want to impose my personal stuff onto her segment. I want her to be in total control. And I feel like that's where this series is going to differ from other documentaries that are out there.
Yeah. That's really
awesome. Cool. That's a really good way to approach it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what we need, right? Like, these women need a voice, like,
and honestly, I think that they can be their own voice. They just, we don't have, I don't say we don't have that platform. We're afraid to step on that platform. So doing this, I feel like we're saying, hey, come to us. We're going to, we're going to be there with you. You're not going to be alone.
Yeah. Awesome. No, and I think it's really, I think your idea of like turning this around and turning it into, revenue for these athletes when it comes to their content and everything like that. Your comment was interesting to me about how, like, they're just gonna, assume that we want to give our content for free, because obviously, they see the desperation in trying to get the word out there for women's bodybuilding, or the support out there from women's bodybuilding. So of course, Hunter's gonna want us to, put her, well, maybe not, I don't know. You got plenty of your own followers. You know what I mean? To try and highlight said person versus, I mean, look at like any other pro sport, right? Like even like, let's take like the WNBA. Like, I'm sure if they had content that needed to be shot, they would get paid for it. You know what I mean? So it's like, this is still a professional sport at the end of the day, and it's definitely treated as such and made to be as such. So I guess, absolutely, let's bring about the same kind of treatment, that piece in particular, I think, will be very fascinating to kind of watch how it transforms over the next couple of years, for sure.
Absolutely.
No, I would like to see it change for us.
Yeah. Well, you're making it happen. So there's no way it's not going to happen. Yeah. Quick little segue that's completely unrelated before we kind of close out of here. I noticed you have a violin in the background. Do you play classical music? Do you play violin?
Oh yeah, like I actually do play. I've been playing since I was 9, and that actually new. My partner purchased it for me for Christmas. So I was excited. Because, like,
that's awesome.
Ooh, that's so cool.
Heck yeah,
that is really cool.
So cool.
I played violin when I was 9, leading up till like when I became 13, and like was more like I started getting into like the punk and rock scene. I was like, this isn't cool. I want to do drumming, and I got into drumming. and I started drumming for years in the so I do both. I like both. Yeah.
That is so cool.
That's really cool.
I didn't even know you guys can see that. I can see it a little. I'm on my phone, so it looks really small.
It's little.
Oh, it's tiny. Yeah, I've got you on my computer screen, so it's a little more expanded. But heck yeah, that's super awesome. I assume you've played it, obviously, since you got it for Christmas. You've cracked it open.
This one's an electric violin, so I haven't played it yet. So that's very new. I've never had an electric violin before. And then, like, I was like, you know, I'd go online and I'm just like looking at violins all the time and just like, whatever. Like, I wish I can have an electric violin. And I guess he saw me one day or checked my search history and ordered it. Because that was the exact color that I was looking at.
That's amazing.
Heck yeah. Brownie points for that for sure.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So it sounds like you're very much into like the edgy but the classical. So this seems like a good combo. An electric violin, I imagine it kind of gives you that sound or that edginess.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Is it just like strictly hobby, or do you do like local concerts or anything, or community, or like are you involved anyway, or is it just like this is what I do?
No, it's just the hobby. I wanted to like get into music professionally, like, you know, that when I was in drumming, not necessarily not on the violin side, but like when at that time in my life, like I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I loved music, and then I wasn't into sports at all, by the way. I was not athletic growing up. I was like into art and music. And yeah, for real, like I failed PE and stuff. I was just not interested. It wasn't I was incapable. You know, they just told us to go run, and I didn't want to run. I was hard headed, and I said I didn't want to, and I just sat out and accepted the F. You know, like that was me. I was just like, I don't want to be.
Wow, what a 180! What a 180!
Yeah, now
I know, right?
I think it's because it was something I didn't want to do, and if I didn't want to do it, I wasn't going to do it. You know, that's why I failed. Yeah, but
it's a mindset thing for sure.
Yeah, it was, but it's funny because like I read, I want to say it's funny, but it's like it's crazy the total. Like, if you told me I would be here bodybuilding back then, I'd be like, yeah, no, I'm not going to be out in the gym doing that. And it's not like I had anything against it, because I actually enjoyed, like, when I was, it's odd to say this, but when I was like 9, 10, I was like, I really liked muscular people. You know, there's like Xena Warrior and stuff. And I'm like, wow, fascinated by it.
She was bad.
Yeah. And I was like, that's so cool. And then, so, but like I was into it, but not like, I'm going to go, like, I didn't even know the concept of training, I think, that time. But yeah. So, no, I was an art nerd, and I still do charcoal, and I love music a lot. I really enjoy music. I aside from, it's probably bad, but probably like 40% of my day is like listening to music and somewhere doing something.
Not bad at all. It's better than what I'm sure a lot of other people are out there doing with most of their day. You know, not bad.
Yeah. No, like so what were we talking about professionally? No, I don't know. I don't think I even though I was young, I think the reality of it was like, am I going to uproot my whole life and try to make a living out of this? And I didn't feel that I was passionate enough to do that and to go on tour and everything, and to, be away from my family. And after that, I got into lifting, and, I started lifting a bit, and then got into boxing. I boxed for a while because my grandpa owned a boxing gym. And then that got me more towards bodybuilding. And that's when I did my figure show, I was like, I don't know what this is, but I want to do it. Yeah. I had no idea. I didn't know the poses or anything. I didn't know what to do. But that's not knowing what to do, and you're just out there, you kind of have no expectations, So it's like, you're there's like no fear, no nothing, because you're like, you don't know what to do. And it felt fun. So from that end, like I was like, I really like the way I look. I like the way I feel. I like the feel of muscle, and then it kind of went on from there.
Oh yeah. Is there anything that you would tell that Kelli now, knowing what you know and where you are today?
Yeah, I think so. Like, one thing that sticks out is diet. I was like, don't just eat everything thinking that, you're going to get buff off of it. I've gotten fat 3 times. I think I don't know if y'all been there, but I've been there. I'm like, I gotta eat more. I gotta eat more. And I'm eating like Ronnie Coleman, but I'm like 140,
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
I would tell
that's the
myself.
part about it, right? Like you have like the experience and you have the trials and errors to be able to say, like, I've been there, I've done this, I've done it this way, I've done it that way, so I always find that so much more valuable than the person that learned how to do it perfect from the get-go.
Yeah, no.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of value in that for sure.
No, I mean, don't get me wrong, it was fun and everything, but I feel like I wasted. I don't say wasted, but like I could probably use the word wasted, but you like gain so much weight, and next thing you know, you're 70, 80 pounds over what you're gonna step on stage, and then you have to work all that shit off, and it's just like, dude, like, what did I do to myself? Yeah, where now it's like I'm trying to hover around, like not go over 30 pounds, like around there, because like I stepped on stage around like I think it was like when I was totally about to start my, refeed for the peak week. I was around 165, and now I'm around 178 to 180. Or so, like, we're not too far away.
Look, so you're pretty close, yeah.
Yeah, that's solid. Oh, yeah, and you're looking phenomenal, by the way. Your recent updates are fabulous.
Yeah, you look great.
Thank you.
That's so exciting. This pro debut is about to be really good.
Yeah, I'm excited, more so because the stage time is different than at the amateur level. And you're not having to trying to find all these songs and like I gotta find a perfect little like 45-second clip, and where here it's like a whole song. But, okay.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. Do you because that's obviously a very interesting switch going from figure and then into the divisions that have the individual routines. Did you find that you kind of, coming from like an artsy background, did you find that you kind of fell into that pretty easily, or was that kind of like I don't really kind of know what I'm doing up here with this routine? Or
okay, so no, when I don't think my artsy background correlated to dance art. Like, like I think unfortunately I inherited like my mom's stuff. Like she has two left feet. So like it's actually it's a lot of work for me. Like with my physique, when I went into physique, I did physique, I think 2 shows, and my Janine Lenkowski was my coach for physique. She did my routine, and I had to practice it for like 4 months in order to, have it ingrained in you, where it's just like you're just on autopilot. Yeah. So that's what we have to do here as well. Like, don't get me wrong, like I did ballet for a while, but that was like when I was like 9, around 8 to 9. And I still enjoy watching it, but personally, like me trying to do it, like I'm like, oh, okay, no. So I still have to work on it. It's very hard for me.
Yeah. Well, I think that's kind of good to know what you're sharing, because I feel like that, again, with some clients that I've had that have interest in women's physique or something like that, like, I just, I don't know. I don't know if I feel comfortable trying to come up with a whole routine for 60 seconds or whatever it is, not having either like a dance background or, something that they feel confident in, like moving and just kind of whatever the case might be. So, I'm sure hearing that, like, no, I don't do this. This isn't my forte, but I manage with what I've got, and I practice a lot, and I make it happen. I think is really important to hear.
Yeah, definitely. Because like, apart from having to almost have it all, have the femininity, have the muscularity, everything, now they want you to be a professional like dancer. It's a lot, and it's like my advice to people getting into this, and like, if they're hesitant to move into it because they feel like they're not a natural when it comes to dancing or choreography, doing choreography, is like, we have all our strengths. Work on highlighting those strengths, and whatever area that you need more work in, just do your best in that area. Hire a choreographer, do your practice. And if you need somebody to practice with you in person, find somebody in your area. I think that's the best way to do it. It's like, we're not going to have it all down, but we have our strengths, and milk those strengths. Don't feel bad about milking what it works for you.
Yeah, absolutely. That's huge.
Now, Hunter, like, I know you came in from powerlifting. I hope we have some time. What was the biggest obstacle for you getting into bodybuilding, or did it just like, were you just like, ooh, like I'm home?
It just kind of fell into place. Like as a powerlifter, I already was following a diet. I've always been a very adherent. So it just, honestly, I just rolled right into it. Thankfully, it was very easy to transition for me. The only thing that kind of still gets me is ego. So
like the ego getting being in a powerlifting, because it's that driven sport. It's like, intense. Are you talking about that, or more like?
Yeah, or just like the weight that you're using on the bar.
Okay.
Like not being as focused on that and more focused on control and intention and all that stuff. Sometimes I still have trouble with that.
Okay. Yeah. I think we all might have that issue too.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's an issue, but you know, I have that.
Yeah.
Where we have to focus on controlling that and scaling back.
Yeah.
But I don't wanna do that.
Yeah,
Right?
Jasmine, I think I've seen some of your videos. You're like doing, I don't know if they're stiff legged deadlifts or some kind of deadlift. Like, you're like deadlifting with 4 plates, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah. So it I have that problem too. Where so you just sometimes throw out the pauses and the slow tempo, and you're like, I just want to see what I can do today.
Have a little fun. Have a little fun with it.
Luckily, that also can build muscle. So
No, I was doing it for the
herniated for me, so now I'm like, oh, I better not.
I think one thing that would be interesting or would help, because we've talked about it in the group about getting younger people into women's bodybuilding, was like I like growing, not I don't want to say growing up, but getting it into bodybuilding and looking for a path. I was, you know, like the content that was out there, books, sometimes like books or things like that. I was like reading Mike Mincer or looking at training routines by guys. I feel that I don't know if it's out there, but what isn't popular is like a routine or a guide from a female bodybuilder's perspective in regards to training, a philosophy or something to follow. I think that would be interesting.
That would be very interesting. I think, definitely from the perspective of, I think the female bodybuilder herself versus the male coach that coaches the female bodybuilder even. I mean, I think that probably has some value too, and just kind of getting more of that like insight on the coaching side. But yeah, absolutely from the female bodybuilding side of like, this is what, you know, I did in my 10 years of bodybuilding and kind of how I structured my workouts at certain points or, I mean, well, I guess it's kind of, we try to do that in our social medias and whatnot. You know, trying to create that content, but I do think, I don't know, I wish back were the times of magazines and I don't know, spreads like that, because I don't know, it's just, I feel like not the same as like the quick instant, like 50-second reel or whatever it is. And blow past, you know.
I feel like the only person that's really done like a full, like not really even a documentary, it was just a handwritten journal of like their entire training and like just workout process from start to finish for the Olympia was Danilyn Bailey. I think
she did. She had those journals that she put out. Yeah, those were pretty cool.
Training repertoire from start to finish. Those were always really interesting. I did like seeing those. She had like little side notes on each thing, which I thought was.
I had those like little log books that she had like little doodles and Rob was really mean today or something.
These little side notes. You're like,
I think we do it for ourselves, but I don't see us like posting it. You know, I haven't put it on my page or anything because I have my like I have a logbook, and then like I'm like, you know, Excel. I have an Excel too, where like I put everything in there, and I have my little notes like, oh, I didn't eat in time, like for my training, so this is like why my training was shit today, or like have all these little side notes of what's going on in life, because like in powerlifting, you know, when you're like I brought that from my powerlifting, like my experience in powerlifting was like, you know, when you're trying to work up to a daily max and base your percentages on that daily max, it's like that's gonna be different from maybe like a previous session depending on what was going on in your life. You know, like during prep, I lost the person that was close to me, and I was still trying to train, and I was like in a bad mental place, and I'm just like, you know, there, and then I wasn't eating as much, so my numbers were shitty. But then, you know, when I was like in it, I was like, damn, I need to perform as good as I did last session for this. And you know, you just have to take everything into consideration. And so I do that in my training book. So I think that would be something cool. Maybe we can even talk about it, Hunter, like in the group or for the page, or I don't know what we can do, but like kind of have training journals for us, not just like our little biographies that we're putting up for ourselves. That'd be awesome.
That'd be cool.
What you actually do in the gym, kind of how that time is spent, and absolutely
process through everything.
I think that'd be really cool. like to put it out there like in a published format would be really cool.
I think so. I don't know if it should be like individual athlete or it should just be like a whole combination of our things. That'd be dope. Like buying something with like this era of like the women in bodybuilding, like our training stuff. Like, that'd be cool.
That would actually be really cool by like eras or something like that. I don't know.
That would be neat.
It's a matter of finding the certain women in those eras, like Linda Murray, you know what I mean, and getting kind of what she was doing, like her time, and that would be really cool.
Right? That'd be super cool.
Seeing the evolution, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
What was that, Ashlyn?
So I'm sure you start to see a lot of similarities as well, just like in basic movements and just like style setups. It would be interesting to see.
Absolutely. Let's figure this out. Let's try to curate some of this. That'd be really cool.
No, I think it would be, and like I think there are a lot of ideas in a women's bodybuilding group, but it's just like we're spewing out all these ideas, but it's like we need to put it all down and actually run with these ideas. Is where I think the disconnect is.
That's what they're talking about today.
Today? Oh, okay. I didn't tune in yet. I need to see.
Like putting like an official letter out, basically stating what we want, what we'd like to see. Things like that.
Oh, okay, so we're like
that's what they're talking about today. Yeah.
Sounds like you got some catching up to do, Kelly.
Yeah. There's a lot.
It's like I'm trying to catch up onto it. Like I'll go in and read everything and, you know, like have my little thing, like, you know, talk on it. But then it's like I'm also trying to work on, you know, I'm working on the documentary. And then I have, you know, like a lot of us have different things that's going on in our lives. Like Priyami's a dental hygienist. And I think somebody stated that they're in like law enforcement or in law in general.
Yeah.
And it's like, trying to give as much as we can to the sport of women's bodybuilding is very like, you know, very challenging, but we are because we want to do it. But it's like we have to like find that little whole like that little part of our week or day where we can actually sit and commit to it, because we all wear different hats. Like I have 3 children, and there's like a lot of other women in my place where we have children, we have, you know, husbands, partners, and we're taking some of their load too, and like we're trying to be our own person despite being a person for everybody else in our lives.
Yeah, for sure. Women, it's us, you know, we've got so many hats that we wear in any given day.
True that.
Amen. Well, okay, my ladies. I think that is a good place to kind of to wrap it up. You know, I really super appreciate Kelly you coming on.
It was nice talking to you.
Thank you for having me. This is super fun. This is actually the first podcast. I was like talking to my partner about it, that I've only had podcasts that were, you know, moderated by men. This is the first time I've been on all women's podcasts.
I love that. That's great.
I was nervous at first, like, but you know, it was totally chillax.
Cool. I mean, that's definitely the vibe. We all try to go for. Again, it's nothing super formal. I definitely knew I wanted to do kind of something similar to like what you're doing, you know what I mean? Just give a voice to female competitors and, you know, just try to get some of this out there in a way that isn't currently being put out there. But absolutely. Obviously let us know how we can continue to help. I mean, I'm going to be putting the Instagram and the GoFundMe to the physique page. I mean, I would definitely love to hear more as this kind of progresses. Love to have you on again, kind of as you get into your prep. If you have the time, you seem like a very busy lady, but I think it would be really neat to kind of get you back on and kind of see how things are progressing. And
I'd love updates with how things are going. I want to follow along and help support.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Definitely. I'll speak to Anastasia as well, or one of the other athletes that are going to be on the series, see if we can both be on and talk about, you know, the process and, you know, from their perspective. I think that'd be definitely cool for everyone and keeping everybody in the loop.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. We'll certainly figure something for that, schedule that. Is there anything you want to leave us with, or anything you want to plug? I mean, I know we've been plugging the Instagram and the GoFundMe and everything, but any last words?
Okay, so one, thank you for plugging the GoFundMe and the page. And for those who can't support monetarily, you know, all I ask is just share the page, you know, put it in your stories here and there, just bringing more awareness to the page so people can be like, to find that we actually exist. Cause that's one thing I've always, like, you know, my mom always told me, like, nobody knows you exist if you're not putting yourself out there. So if, you know, our page can be shared, that's going to help us tremendously, especially with, you know, for getting our series out there to a broader crowd. Because, you know, some of my followers have people who are not even into bodybuilding, don't know it exists, or, you know, what's going on. So if they see it, they might gain interest in it and start following the page. That's all I ask, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Share, everybody. Like and subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe.
Love it.
All right, my beautiful ladies. Well, I hope you all have a good rest of your evenings and a good week ahead. And Kelli, again, thank you so much for coming on, and we'll have you on again sometime soon.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
All right, bye, ladies.
Bye, ladies.
Babies, babies.